Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Good Night, Everybody, the show where we just, talk about whatever. Normally, this is the part of the show where I will have some banter with Sidekick Steven, but as you will notice, there's no Sidekick Steven anywhere. He got held up buying cow food. Yes, really. He is at the cow foods market. I don't know, but he will be here. He will be joining us at some point. He promises. He got the time a little mixed up. I don't know how we do this. We only do it every week. But I'm incredibly excited because our guest is here, and we can have a longer discussion than normal because we're starting straight off. It's Andrea, who is the creative force behind the Paschal Parlor, creating beautiful jewelry, Catholic pieces outside of the normal mold. Andrea, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about the name. Why not start there? How did you come up with the name for your shop? I get the references, obviously, but inform us on how it came together.
I feel like it was the classic, every good name was taken. So I started there, but that's usually what ends up helping you come up with something interesting, is having boxed in limits. So you have to kind of be more creative that way. But I thought shop and store sounded a little too boring for what I was doing. So I was like, a parlor, it kind of fits more of the image I'm going for, because you sit down, you have some tea and coffee, talk with people. So it's a very relaxed, informal, enjoyable atmosphere. So that's kind of what I try to capture with all the pieces and the vibe I try to give out. So I felt that a parlor would work really well. And then Paschal, Paschal Joy. I want everybody to be very happy and excited to share the good news, when they're wearing whatever piece they get. So they kind of just flow together, Paschal Parlor.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's an excellent name. I love that imagery of the parlor, and as it's set apart from the normal, storefront or shop, or which, as you said, is so trite and overused, and I like that. It almost evokes a sense of community too, right? A parlor, you wouldn't be, you're not just digitally shopping on a storefront by yourself. You're invoking this idea of the parlor, a meeting place, a social, which is obviously community, very important within the church. How did you get started in making these pieces? How did you start designing jewelry?
Very long story short. I started sculpting when I was about 7. My sisters got, the little non-dry clay that you get kids during Christmas so they can play with or whatever. They got a set of those, and I ended up having more fun with it than they did. So they let me keep it. And I just made literally whatever I could even attempt to try. And I'm very kinetic. I've always loved how kinetic the church is in general, with incense and really kind of immersing you and stuff like that. So I just really taught myself. There was no YouTube at the time, with different tutorials on how to make things. So I kind of just went with the flow. I started selling my stuff at markets when I was about 12, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So I kind of started my own little, it was called Poly.create. That was like the little primordial version of the Paschal Parlor, going with a P, letter theme. I just did that until I was about maybe 17. And I kind of shifted more into making them wearable, because I just thought that was more fun than just little figures, because then you can just take something you love and show people more easily. So that kind of really took off. People really liked the jewelry aspect. So I kind of really honed in all of that. And I didn't actually really start doing Catholic niche specific stuff hardcore until about maybe last year. I was kind of tired of kind of just making, I don't know, the same things over and over again. And I wanted to have a more consistent, enjoyable customer base. And oh my goodness, Catholics make the best customer base. Everybody is just always so lovely and excited about what you're doing. So last year I kind of really honed in more of the Catholic theme and stuff like that. And
what had you been making before that? Was it fantasy pieces?
Figures. Like fantasy pieces, little figures, a lot of commissions. I didn't necessarily have like a set things that I would, make in bulk and then sell. I was really all about original, one of kind pieces, and that kind of continues now. I have a lot of limited edition runs for my jewelry,
Right.
and
Yeah.
a lot
Very
of one
cool.
of a kind pieces. So,
Because I sense a bit of the influence of fairy, that kind of whimsy without being saccharine in your work. Is that fair to say? That I noticed you did the
yeah,
unicorn, for example, which I know is
yeah,
biblical, obviously, and that makes me crazy what it's become. This
yeah,
kind of My Little Ponyification of the
mm-hmm.
unicorn.
Yeah,
But you have the right understanding of that. So is that kind of, did you have an interest in fairy tale or
yeah,
fairy stories, those kind of things that kind of came together with your faith, and how did that
yeah.
work?
Definitely a Lord of the Rings fan.
Mm,
Let's start there.
great.
Yeah, so I made a lot of fantasy themed pieces. I really like stories. I
Right.
think stories are a really good base for anything that you're making. It's part of why AI doesn't really work so well when making art, because the
Hmm.
human eye wants to follow a story. It's not very good at creating that. That's a whole other tangent. But
No, it's a
yeah,
good
I really
tangent.
like,
Just
yeah.
let me, I'll tell you one thing right here, and maybe we'll have you back on with him. But that's one of the focal points we have. We were talking a little before. Chris Lewis, Barrett's illustration, makes him crazy hearing about people creating with
Mm-hmm.
AI. So yeah, we've talked about that a lot on the show. We're right there with you. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
No, you're good. But yeah, so I found stories tend to also be a really easy way to connect with people, because again, that parlor aspect of inviting people in, forming a community kind of thing, and that was just a lot easier to do than just saying, "Oh, here's this random thing I made. Please like it." If something
Yeah.
has a story behind it, people are more inclined to get on board. And it's also easier when you're, a lot of, I mean, women do this all the time. They're like, "Oh my goodness, I love your earrings. Where'd you get them?" It's easier to kind of share the story behind it, rather than, "Oh, they were just on sale in TJ Maxx."
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah, I hear
yeah.
you. So yeah, I think that's such a great point. The story is so important. I've been thinking about that a lot in the past few years. In fact, Tolkien says something. I'm going to paraphrase badly, and if you know the exact quote, please correct me. But he says something like the gospel is like the greatest fairy story, right?
Yeah.
And by that he certainly doesn't, or the greatest myth. And by that he doesn't mean that it's fake or didn't happen. But if you know his understanding of fairy story, and if you read his essay on fairy stories, that means to him it's of the utmost importance, not something that's fickle or throwaway. And story's always been so important. I feel like now we're losing a lot of that, unfortunately. But and fairy tales in particular. I think of Hans Christian Andersen and the Brothers Grimm. These were mini morality plays. These are the way people would teach morals to their children. These were oral traditions passed down that were collected, and it ties so much together, especially in the creative space. What were some of the things about, let's go with Tolkien, I guess, that really stood out to you as being inspirational for the work you were doing, even before the Catholic stuff?
He didn't. Well, I feel like that's true for a lot of fairy tales, and that's part of what makes a good fairy tale is it doesn't coddle you. A lot
No.
of them are very, initially maybe even traumatizing to hear.
Hmm.
But that's just life. I felt that it kind of just really equips you to how to deal with life. Reading a lot of his work and stuff like that, especially when I think it was Frodo at one point. He was like, "Why didn't he just kill Golem?" Like, wouldn't
Mm,
that have just made our lives so much easier? And he was like, "Well, he was spared for a purpose. So let's wait and see what happens." I'm sure a lot of readers probably felt similarly, like, "Oh, let's just off Golem, make
yeah.
everything easier." But in the end, it ended up being really a crucial decision to not do that. So it kind of helped me a lot as well when making decisions. And even if I make a mistake, kind of like a Bob Ross line of thinking of happy mistakes, let's just see what happens, what comes with it. Um, and stuff like that. So yeah, just kind of the very brutal but also hopeful worldview and outlook that it can give you as well. Not all
Right.
things are lost. So yeah,
That's
that's what
such
I would
a
say basically.
that's such a beautiful illustration of the idea of providence in Tolkien's books, right there, where how mercy results in the destruction of the ring. It would not have happened
Hmm.
in the end had it not been for the fact that Bilbo spared Gollum in that cave,
Right.
when by all practical intention he would have had every right to off him The guy was threatening. He was dangerous. He was going to eat him if he lost the,
Yep.
the little game. I mean, it's not like he was some happy chap just hanging out in his lake there. But he doesn't. He spares him because he's not a danger to me now, and he pities him. He has pity on him. In fact, this is what Gandalf brings up again when Frodo says, "Oh, I wish Bilbo would have killed Gollum. It's a pity he didn't." And Gandalf says, "No, it's pity. That's why he didn't do it."
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, of course, when Frodo fails, because people forget this, he fails. He claims the ring at the peak of Mount Doom. He's going to take it for himself. Gollum shows up, and providentially, spoiler alert, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Bites Frodo's finger off and falls and tumbles into the fires of Mount Doom with the ring, which is destroyed. Yeah, that's amazing. What a great point of inspiration to take.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that that looking through things through the lens of fantasy helps you to actually become more grounded in portraying things of the faith to people with your
Mm-hmm.
with your jewelry?
Yeah, it also helps me not be as cynical. The main complaint that I get, and I get this very often, and I was expecting it, but I wasn't initially expecting how much it would come up. But so many people are divorced from reality, aka the stories that myths and different, oral traditions can give you and wisdom, that they just associate a lot of symbols like the unicorn or ravens very superficially with what it is now culturally.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get a lot like, "Oh, well, that's satanic." Or
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
"Why are you advertising yourself as Catholic jewelry? What the heck do unicorns and ravens have to do with Catholicism?" But that just kind of shows how divorced people are from reality, because the reality is, like ravens show up quite a bit in scripture. They're symbols of providence, divine care.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I could go on about a million different things. But I do find that that's a really good portal for people to kind of enter into, to kind of be more knowledgeable about what Catholicism actually teaches.
Yeah.
Um,
So interesting
yeah.
too. Like, I hate this trend of and it's certainly not a new trend, unfortunately, but this idea of demythologizing the Bible and
Mm-hmm.
creating this new secular mythologies. Like I use Neil Gaiman a lot for a touch point of this, because he thinks he loves fairy tales and fantasy stories, but what he misses is the grounding in truth. Like his quote unquote gods can just pack up and leave. Like at some point in the Sandman, which is his work, Satan just decides, or it's Lucifer, just decides he doesn't want to be the devil anymore, and he leaves hell and just leaves it in charge of somebody else, because he doesn't believe in any of this real stuff. So these secular mythologies are so flighty, whereas what Tolkien understood and what you understand is that there's a reality being portrayed there, and that these things have real symbolic meaning, not just these inventions of pop culture. Can you talk a little bit about the unicorn? When did you first kind of I don't want to say come across the unicorn in the Bible, because you're probably very young, but when did the idea of what it was meant to be kind of become cemented? And there's Chris Lewis now. They saved Saint Benedict. Oh, okay, yeah. So
He's talking about the raven.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So can you maybe talk about? You want to tell that story? You want to talk about that, or can you
about Benedict? Oh, I can start with the unicorn and then kind of segue into the ravens.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So I mean, like you said, yeah, very young. My Little Pony. I just really like animals in general. I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was little for the longest time. Didn't pan out. Long story there. But kind of starting with, for example, like ravens. What do those mean? You know what I mean? Like, they come up, like, do they actually just symbolize Odin and other things like that? And then I was looking at a lot of medieval tapestries, because I was trying to come up with a lot of medieval tapestry ideas, because I did some polling on my Instagram on, what do you want to see more of? And I got a lot of feedback for tapestries. And I saw unicorns pop up a lot.
Right.
Especially in France. French tapestries tend to show a lot of unicorn imagery.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, well, is this something I want to go with? Because again, people are going to complain like, "Oh, what the heck do unicorns have to do with Catholicism? My DMs are going to be filled with people hating me." So I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I have to be really solid on it. And, kind of going through it, and then finding St. Jerome translated it. And,
that's right.
The reasoning behind that. Yeah. And a lot of imagery of like rhinoceros was used as well, was kind of what he was pulling from. with the one horn.
Right.
So then that kind of just morphed into what the unicorn is now. If you look at bestiaries, they tend to show a lot of like that morphing into what we know now as like a horse with a horn. Yeah. So I did a blog post about it. If anybody wants to look at it, I have like pictures and everything.
Oh,
it's
great!
Really cool.
Well, yeah, we can link.
And I linked to the bestiary as well. There's a bestiary linked in there too if people want to go through that rabbit hole, because there's a lot of really wild.
I love those
medieval imagery there.
Yeah.
I think it's got like 4,000 different images. I'm still coming through it. It's really cool. But anyway, yeah. So I kind of just went down that rabbit hole of unicorns in the Bible, the translations, and then how they symbolize Christ, because usually the legend goes as a virgin, tames it. So a lot of people associate that with the Virgin Mary and things of that nature. So yeah, I just kind of went with it, and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. Let's make it into earrings. And people really enjoyed it. They didn't know, of course, all that history of the unicorn. So it was really fun to be able to kind of bring people into that world of medieval tapestries, specifically through unicorns.
Right.
So yeah, I just kind of look at something, I go, okay, let's see what we can do there, and then kind of run with it. If there are any Catholic connections there, which 9 times out of 10 there are. So
there's so much. Yeah, that's why I love when people will look at the Bible and the faith in these ways and not divorce it from the imagery and take, Tolkien gives a raven an incredibly important role in The Hobbit towards the end, speaking to Theoden. So he obviously understood, coming back to him, that that imagery and how important it was. What do you have plans for other I don't want to say strictly mythological, but things that maybe are not explicitly in the Bible, but maybe pulling from the hagiography of the saints, things that are kind of more in the realm of a fantasy that you plan to create into pieces? Oh, great.
Yes. I have a lot. I don't know that I'm ready to share any of them yet, except for maybe this one. A lot of people, I did a pair of earrings. If anybody wants to look on my website and find them, they sold out. Spoiler alert.
Good.
But they can go and look at them. They are the Margaret of Antioch earrings. I had somebody comment on my Instagram. This is part of, again, the parlor idea of everybody kind of coming in and like giving me ideas. I had somebody comment, shout out to them. I can't remember their username, but they're like, oh my goodness, I love this niche Catholic imagery. I would love to see something for Margaret of Antioch. And I was like, OMG, perfect. Yes, let's do it. So I kind of look into it, and she has a lot of storylines with, they all vary because they're legends. Right. But one of them is that she gets swallowed by a dragon and then spat out.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, cool. And a lot of it, she's killing the dragon with a sword. So I kind of found some medieval motifs and painted them onto earrings. So if anybody goes and looks at it, it's a blue dragon with a sword going through it, but it's based on an actual image that I found.
Yeah, I love that. So, I love that story too. And I always approach these things with the idea of literal occurrence. Like, you have to convince me away from these not literally happening, these lives of the saints, these events in the Bible. I'll read it literally unless you can convincingly show me that it should be taken another way. No one's done it yet. Stephen,
I've been here the whole time.
Sure.
Yeah.
In spirit. Right?
In spirit.
Well, thank you for joining us, Stephen. How's your cow food?
I was about to ask that again.
Okay, so my apologies.
No, is this going to be a whole diatribe? I just go ahead.
Cow food is fine. We got the cow food, and we came home. That's all that. Hi, Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea, you make jewelry and such. And
good job, Stephen.
Did we her website? We took a look at that. Yes or no? Or
no? I need you for that.
Okay.
I need you.
Tell us your website so I can go to it and then showcase it.
Good gravy, Stephen.
I know we're professional.
It's the PaschalParlor.store.
So while he's doing that, Andrea, what I need to ask you from a purely selfish angle is, are there any plans to make, and maybe you have in the past and I missed it, pieces for men? And what could those be, actually? I guess necklace, pendants, maybe?
So interestingly enough, I have quite a few men following that have asked me the same question.
Okay.
So I'm kind of noodling around with that. But again, it's like, what jewelry would men wear? So I kind of need to pull them specifically and ask them, like, hey.
Exactly what you should do.
Tell me.
Okay. we have a good friend of ours who is who does the Catholic Cigar Company, not Catholic Pipe Company. He made me this nice pipe. I'm not saying do pipes. But he was doing pocket watches, and he has since decided, I believe officially, I don't know, but he's not doing as many pocket watches as he could. But like we're talking like for men.
Oh, Andrea, do you happen to have a machine tooling shop in that closet where you can fabricate pocket watches?
I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to hide it. No.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean,
no,
I want to get into metalwork. I do want to get into metalwork. Right now it's mostly clay, but
tie pins and
well, that's a good idea. Now that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, so if somebody had cufflinks, if somebody had a pocket watch, like a chain or little charms that can go on the chain for a pocket watch, stuff like that, lapel pins, all sorts. So this, let's see, let's take a look.
That is her shop. It is the Paschal Parlor. We were talking about the idea of.
Right, it's Paschal, as in like I was typing it Pascal, not I missed the H.
Fairy tales.
So, but I mean, so they're all clay.
Because I also asked because. Sorry, go ahead, Stephen.
Oh,
I think that you're a little behind, like you're delayed because you were talking.
No, I am.
You might be. I'm gonna say like sassafras, and you repeat, and then we see the delay. Sassafras.
Sassafras.
Okay, so I think you caught up. Cool.
Okay.
All right, so so these are so you got like these. These are nice. Or these are earrings? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, they're earrings. I do mostly earrings. I tried branching into necklaces. A lot of people like chokers because they do a lot of layering with their saint metals. So they wanted something a little shorter, and then they can like kind of combine and mix and match and things like that. But yeah, as for like them, as far as men go, I do know there's like a group. There was somebody who messaged me, and he said he was really into Catholic folk art. So he might do something. So I might do something like a medallion or whatever with like leather, so it doesn't look as girly.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, so I might also branch into that. But as far as like we were saying earlier with the Margaret of Antioch, I did have a lot of men who really liked the dragon imagery. So I might do saints who battle dragons.
So Saint George.
So tying in, Saint George. There was only like one other I could find anything concrete on. It was Saint Martha or something like that. But I might do something like that for men if they're interested in it. So
there's so many incredible. I'm going to use the word legends for lack of a better term, but there's a saint, and Stephen, maybe you can think of the name, but there's a saint that saw a mermaid, had dialogue with a mermaid. That is in their in the legendary.
Okay.
Yeah, you could look into that because then you could tie mermaids into.
I was gonna say yes, that would be really fun.
Yeah,
to be able to tie in somehow. Yeah.
There's like dragons all over. Like you said, there's a lot of, and you know what? There are things like Chris Lewis did one piece like this, but a sticker and I think a shirt. But Jonah and the Big Fish, obviously, Brendan, I think would be a great. I'm not trying to tell you to tell you your job, but but that might work for something that you could work out, because I think your designs and the way that you lay things out and create things is beautiful, very well put together, very well structured.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
the aesthetics are incredible. And it's, because like you said, and I agree 100%. One of the things that drew my wife to your stuff. So many just saint metals out there. So many people making rosaries. Like, we need something different, something striking, something that causes the phenomena that you talked about of like where women say, "Oh, your earrings are so cute. Where'd you get them?" Well, now instead of just saying, like you said, on sale, TJ Maxx, now they can talk about your store, and it can open up conversations about the faith. Things that people don't know. Yeah. It's a great opportunity for evangelization. That isn't heavy-handed.
We were so I don't know. So we have a mutual friend, comic artist, who's now I can't think of his name. We had him on the show. He does Soul Finder.
Yeah, Douglas Ernst. Yeah,
Douglas Ernst. Yeah. So he made a post the other day about how he does. So he has his rosaries, but he also has like. He has like a seraphim like stuff.
They made a plushie of a biblically accurate seraphim. Very
I was gonna
cool.
say that biblically accurate with all that.
Yep.
Yeah. So he has, and so like he was saying, because people ask him like, why do you have all this Catholic stuff? Like as you know, why are you selling like a rosary when you make comic books? Like, what's the point of that? And the answer is like, so he was saying, because we need that those things in your life. Like, people are going to buy like these these mystical rose studs, right? People are going to buy them because they're pretty, and what they don't realize is that what they're buying is also something that is symbolic of Catholicism. And then the more stuff that you have, the more Christian imagery that you have in your home, it changes like the I don't want to say like the feeling of the house, but you know what I mean.
You
it's
can
like
say that. Yeah, that's accurate.
The atmosphere.
Like, the spirituality of your house becomes more holy when you have more Christian imagery around your house. So like icons around the house will remind you of them. And so even if it's like, you know, you can take a look and it's like, oh, look, this, you know, this Joan of Arc, and I think these are really neat looking, right? Like the Joan of Arc stuff here.
Yeah, it's
right?
awesome. I love the unicorn stuff. It's so cool.
Right. So having those just as earrings, someone's going to see it, and then you bring it around with you, right? You bring it into the world with you, and people are going to be like, "Where'd you get it?" And they're going to buy it because of of how it looks. But what they don't realize is that underneath the look of it is going to help them spiritually, and that's something that we need to do as a culture. We need to get better at. Is
take up space.
Yeah, taking up that space.
Like, yeah, and it helps us do it when we have people like you making things like this, because they're, to Stephen's point, it's accessible to anyone that just wants a beautiful piece, something that looks fun, is well made. It doesn't have to just be, because you're not going to get a lot of people let's be honest, asking about your crucifix necklace or your saint medal. You know, it's likely tucked in your shirt anyway. Like with your scapular,
or really tarnished, can't tell what it is.
Right. It's or tiny. It's not going to spark conversation. This stuff is, and it's a way of saying, you know, even if people don't ask, it's a public witness on its own. That's fun, and it's tying in all these other things that we talked about. You know, because reality is so much more interesting than just what we see every day. That is reality. The spiritual world is reality. These legends, these lives of the saints, these mythical, for lack of a better term, again, mythical creatures are reality. They're parts of reality, even if they don't maybe not exist anymore. And their meanings are so important. You know, the inspired authors of the Bible do not make mistakes. Everything is in there for a reason. And we lose so much when we don't acknowledge that, and don't acknowledge it as part of reality, or try to explain it away, or, as I said earlier, demythologize it. And then just because the soul has like a need for myth, and, you know, like Tolkien understood. So what we've been doing in modern society is filling that void for myth with garbage, Game of Thrones, and you know, like whatever. We don't need any of that. Like, what we have is enough. It's much more interesting than anything that could be made up by some secular person's imagination, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%. And like you were saying, I don't know, this kind of ties with Baratus too. I know somebody who was pagan and they converted, and they had a lot of like band t-shirts that weren't the best. But that was kind of their aesthetic. They really like having really cool graphic tees, but they couldn't find anything that was very interesting. So now they've just collected, I swear, like 50 Baratus t-shirts. So that was kind of like filling their void. Yeah.
Brendan the Navigator, Saint Brendan the Navigator, which was an Irish.
That's it. The mermaid, Brendan. That's right. Thank you, Stephen. Brendan the Navigator. I don't know why I always forget, but yeah, you might want to look into that too, because there's a gateway into making mermaid stuff.
Oh, 100%. I will look for any gateway into something that interesting.
Yeah, and I said a lot of the lives of the saints had stuff. I mean, and you know, and then obviously you don't want to put demons on your jewelry, but there might be instances where you could portray a situation where a saint battles a demon, like the way we see, you know, Saint Michael stepping on the devil. There's tons of instances in the hagiographies of the saints where these physical actual battles took place, and in the Bible too. I mean, we have Asmodeus, you know, the devil that was bound in Egypt, in the Bible. I mean, there's just so much awesome stuff in the faith and in the Bible that are just ripe grounds for the kind of stuff you do, and bringing all that stuff to the forefront. Do you have any plans for? I may have asked you a version of this already, but I'm sorry if I did. But stuff that is not explicitly from the faith or from the Bible, but stuff that maybe could be in line. You know, something from favorite fairy tales or myths, or from Tolkien again itself. Or are you committed to just things that are explicitly within the realm of the saints and the scriptures?
Both and.
Okay.
I don't know about necessarily like Tolkien mythology quite yet, though I have had people asking.
Okay.
Again, it's the kind of thing where I'm here to serve you. So if there's something you want tied in, yes, you specifically. Awesome. But yeah, if there's something anybody wants, you know, brought to life essentially that I can tie in somehow for them, I would absolutely be on board with it. Mm-hmm. Again, I do a lot of customs. I have like 3 customs right now I'm working on. One of them, somebody requested St. Barbara. And that's kind of opened a gateway with like towers, you know, and then maybe like, I don't know, Rapunzel. Yeah. So we'll kind of like see how that all goes. But yeah, like literally wherever the wind takes me.
So much of that has been, you know, all those classic fairy tales, which were deeply Christian, have been de-Christian. This is the tragedy of Disney, right? They de-Christianize so much of these fairy tales. I like this comment here. Maybe you can address this. It says, I hate when I find whimsical jewelry pieces, then visit the shop to see witchy and new age themed things. Yeah. These designs, I think they mean your designs, definitely fill the void in whimsical design with a real meaning. Was that a little bit maybe of part of your inspiration for doing this?
Yes. Oh my goodness. So many times. I mean, even this is true too for like Saint metals and stuff like that, or Catholic candles. They look okay, but then when you go to the shop, it's somebody who is selling you love potions. And obviously you don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No.
But then that's frustrating. You know what I mean? Because it's like, where else are you going to get it? So yeah, that definitely was a void I wanted to fill for people. Is, you know, whimsical, fun jewelry that's fun, you know what I mean? Not boxed in with Saint metals that you can enjoy wearing. That I'm also, you know, not sprinkling some sort of curse on for you.
Right.
So
yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of times, because I've experienced this myself, I mean, not looking at jewelry necessarily, but candles, for example, right? It's hard to find reasonably priced 100% beeswax candles that you can get blessed and have in your house, and they smell nice. You find them sometimes. You go to the store, and it's all like the rest of it is just like occultic, new agey. And I'm like, oh, they're cursing these candles. Like I'm not buying. And you kind of don't want to like. I'm speaking for myself personally. Like, I don't want to necessarily give those people money. You know, not to be whatever. Like, so why? So they can go and make another like Baphomet statue to sell on eBay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to encourage that. So, but it's so hard because they purposefully will entangle things that are true and pure in with their pagan nonsense. But I also think something you said earlier was very interesting. You knew someone that was pagan, that they're looking for kind of, because I think that's a lot of the draw with like younger people. I'm an old man, with like younger people these days that are like this reemergence of paganism is like they're drawn to like the fantastical elements of it. Well, we have all that, you know, and not for nothing, but our God and his prophets beat the stuffing out of all those pagan gods in plenty of accounts. So we can provide what they're looking for as far as the fantastical and have it be grounded in truth and not get them possessed. And I think your stuff really plays into that idea. Stephen, did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's so same kind of thing. It's like people are drawn to beauty, and the church has been. It's for some time the church has been trying to focus on like logical arguments, like logic and reason. And logic and reason is good, but people are drawn to beauty, which is why there's a resurgence of like people who want to go to the Latin Mass, and because it's beautiful. And you know, you can have a Novus Ordo that is also beautiful, but the Latin Mass is beautiful by design, right? And you don't have to do much to make it look beautiful. The vestments are important, and like the churches that it's in, like everything is very important in trying to bring that beauty about. And like there's been this kind of weird war on beauty in modern society.
Well, that's the key of it right there. Yeah, there definitely is.
And so like there is an importance of beauty, right? There's like Like, and I'm not talking strictly from a human physical beauty, like, you know, beautiful, but
that is part of
yeah.
it.
So like, all of our, so nowadays our heroes and our heroes and like our mythologies are like superheroes, and they've all
Don't
just
get me
become
started on that, Stephen.
they've all just become like the Greek and Roman gods, where they're just terribly flawed creatures, where they aren't good.
No, they're demons. The
Right.
Greek and Roman gods are demons. This is what I say all the time. The Greek and Roman gods are real. It's not that they are made up myths. It's just that the perspective is off. They people have handed down these stories and kind of made them seem almost benign. But if you look at the way these gods act, they're demons. It's clear. Just as St. Paul says, they're petty, they're vindictive, they hate humanity, they're promiscuous. I mean, good gravy. So I believe they existed 100%, and I think the scriptures and the lives of the saints play that out. But again, it's part of the idea that like this is reality, right? And we need to acknowledge it and not logic it away. And life is so much more interesting. Chandi, I hope I'm saying the name right, says Andrea is very talented. Her jewelry is unique and really detailed. Yes, excellent detail on the. And that Chris Lew, our friend Chris Lewis, says not getting possessed is a top goal. I echo that. Yes, absolutely, Chris, for sure. So I don't. What were you saying? Do you feel like when you're designing a piece, what takes priority in the initial stages of the process? Is it I want this to look beautiful? Is it I want this to convey a particular biblical or Catholic reality? Is it the shape of the piece? Like I want earrings that are shaped like this. Like what kind of comes first in the process?
Overall the theme, what story is it going to tell? And then that kind of guides everything else. I tend to like to sit with an idea for a little bit. Maybe I'm not the best at drawing, contrary to a lot of people. A lot of people in my DMs are like, "Oh, like do you sell stickers and artwork?" And I'm like, I am not very good at drawing. I am very much a 3D kinetic person. But I'll kind of do like very loose, rough sketches of kind of what I want to convey. And then really, I don't know if I get childish with it. I just play with the clay and then kind of see what happens. Like what shape am I thinking of right now that would kind of help me illustrate this point for like as a background or whatever. But really it starts with the theme and the story that I'm going for.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because that kind of just guides everything. It also, of course, depends if I'm doing earrings or a necklace or whatever. But yeah, definitely the idea comes first. And then I kind of noodle around with different shapes to see what speaks to me. So,
you know, I don't want to, I know he's like crazy busy, but I think a collaboration with Chris Lewis would be a phenomenal thing. Him more 2D and drawing, you more 3D centered and real. I don't know, just something. A limited edition collaboration.
That would be really cool. Hint, hint.
Yeah. Okay. I have some questions submitted here by a staff writer. It's my wife. It's just my wife. Anyway, she wants to know. These are good questions though. Are there any lesser known feast days or saints that you're eager to highlight in future designs that you can reveal to us? I know you want to keep some of this close to the vest, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, Saints Felicity and Perpetua are really cool.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Those are cool. Christina the Astonishing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. I just found out about her about a month ago. Because my wife's middle name is Christine, and I was like, "Is there a Saint Christine?"
Right. That's beautiful.
But there's a Saint Christina the Astonishing. Amazing. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, that's so cool. Okay. Nobody knows about her for some reason.
Yeah, I know. I think I found her from a Census Fidelium talk. She just like showed up on my feed, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." But anyway, yeah. Catherine of Alexandria.
Nice.
She's really neat. There's so many.
Right.
I'm thinking also as well different Marian titles. I do tend to go through. I have a book of where is it? I have it. Prayer book of favorite litanies.
Oh, nice.
This tends usually I'll like go through and pick like a Marian title. So I kind of went with Mystical Rose because that was kind of a more well-known one. But then there's also like Tower of Ivory or Pillar of Ivory. Yeah, because again, all of that is also imagery that you can kind of dig into.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it also includes a bunch of different saints. So I'll kind of go through there and find an interesting title of theirs and kind of dig into it and see if I can like bring that to life somehow. But yeah, I definitely have a growing list. I mean, Brendan the Navigator is now on it.
Very cool. Yeah. That mermaid
and things like that. What's the saint? There's a saint with spiders.
Oh yeah.
Felix, Saint Felix.
Right. Yeah.
So that would be a cool one.
Really
Maybe
cool.
even for like All Saints Day.
Hmm?
Maybe because there's so many people with like weird, gaudy, satanic spiders. It's like you gotta tie it back somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And maybe there's got to be ways to do more Catholic leaning but still fun options for what is popularly called Halloween, right? Because they kind of stole that from us and then made it a cult like they do for so many things. And that
what else is new? I mean, the devil's not creative.
No, he can't create. He can
all he can really do is just copy and not do it very well. So
yep, correct, 100%. Okay, I have another question here from my wife. This is a personal one because as a fellow clay worker, she wants to know, how do you ensure durability of polymer clay pieces?
Good question. Polymer clay, polymer polyvinyl chloride. It's a plastic. If you properly cure it, and then what I'll do, not a lot of people know this, but if you throw it in an ice bath right after, it kind of shocks it a bit and it makes it more durable and harder. It also doesn't really break very easily because it is a plastic, so it has some give. Like if I really wanted to right now, I can like bend these back and forth. And they do pretty okay. Like unless you sit on it and you're actively like, trying to cut it up or whatever, it should be fine. But yeah, usually I'll bake it for maybe like 50, it depends on the thickness of the piece too. But usually I cure it really well and then I throw it in an ice bath after. And especially if I'm painting on it, I'll use floor polish. It's polyurethane water. Polyurethane is water soluble, and that helps make it more scratch resistant. So I'll kind of just do a couple layers of that. Yeah, and not if it's scratching your skin, just where the design is, because
Gotcha. Yeah, of course. Okay. And then this one's kind of tied into that, I think. She says, have you experimented with incorporating other materials like gold leaf or gemstones?
I've experimented with glass. You can mix in like tiny glass beading. I do have gold leaf. Gold leaf you can definitely do if you're going for a marbled effect. There's a technique you can do to make it look like real marble. And some people can like add that for like gold flaking. But yeah, I mean, the possibilities are literally endless. You can even do, you can paint it and bake it. So you can paint on it while it's still raw, essentially. You can mix in different mica powders. It's really versatile. Yeah. I mean, world's your oyster with this medium, which is why I love it so much. So
yeah, I mean, I love the different shapes of all the pieces that you make. Was it kind of a frustration on your end of like, oh, everything is just Saint metals, everything is just rosaries?
Yeah,
it was
kind of. And I did make jewelry with Saint metals for a little bit.
Like incorporating them into the jewelry. Is that what you
mean? And on its own, like just as like string necklaces and stuff like that. And this is not to like diss at all anybody who does it really, really well, but it kind of felt more like I was assembling and not really creating, if that makes sense. Because all I'm doing is kind of like stringing things. I mean, obviously you have to have like a vision for how it's going to look in the composition of like all that and whatnot. But to me, it just felt more like I was assembling and not really having as much of a start to finish hands-on process satisfaction kind of thing with it. So I kind of just preferred sticking with the clay. Although the Saint metals, you can definitely do some really beautiful things with them. It's just you're kind of limited, because obviously you can't paint on it. You can't add sparkles necessarily. So
you're probably a little bit like me in that I just got so sick of seeing like a million shops on Etsy that are just bulk buying these Saint metals from Italy that are like 50 cents a quarter a piece, and then charging like $10 for them.
And the other issue with that as well is sourcing. A lot of people tend to ignore Catholic social teaching when it comes to sourcing as well, ethically. And you can't guarantee, a lot of them are Italy, and you kind of do want to kind of obviously order from there, but oftentimes people will go to like Amazon or whatever. But the danger with that is oftentimes they will sneak things into the metals that aren't Catholic.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Like a lot of the designs, you look at it and you're like, is that Satan there in the background?
There was a pandemic
why is there
of the miraculous metal that they had snuck Freemasonic symbols into.
Exactly.
And, it's crazy. And all these ones that are like so symbol rich, like a St. Benedict medal, you got to know what's supposed to be on there before you go ordering a whole big giant bag of 50 of them to put around your house or whatever. Like you're going to get.
I've definitely seen sketchy St. Benedict medals because it's supposed to have like the Latin around the edge, and sometimes they'll like sneak things that aren't the actual original Latin, and I'm like, I don't want to get possessed today. To put
well, as Chris Lewis said, not getting possessed is top priority.
Right.
Stephen, I'm sorry, were you trying to say something?
I'm not. I was gonna just ask about. So I obviously did my little Catholic comedy thing, and so we have a couple of saints on there that potentially could do well for jewelry. So there's Saint Teresa of Avila, who was very comedic in some of her writings and the things that she would say to the devil as he tried to provoke her. And like there's Saint Philip Neri, patron saint of humor and joy. We have Saint Lawrence, the patron saint of barbecues, which in and of itself is a fantastic joke.
And comedians.
I know, but like patron saint of comedians and barbecues, and he's a patron saint of barbecues because he was barbecued, which I love that about the faith is that like if you want to know what someone's the patron saint of something is, like who was horribly murdered by that thing. That's the patron saint of it. Right? So, and
he's the patron of comedians because while he was being grilled, he said,
"Right,
turn me over. I'm done on the side."
Turn me over. But then, like Saint Genesius, who was martyred because he converted mid-performance and then started mouthing off to the emperor. So all good, funny saints, and that I would just toss your way, to see if it. But when you're talking about like the saint medals and sourcing them properly, I think that we should have people, you can get them from Italy. You also get them a lot of times from China, which is funny because China hates the Catholic Church, yet they are like the #1 supplier of rosaries in the entirety of the world. And so like you go and like because there are certain large stores that sell Catholic goods, which I won't mention just in case they'd get upset if I mention their names in this context.
I can think of probably the same ones you are, but
like, and then you pick it up and it's like, hey, this is a nice rosary and it's made in China. It's like probably in a sweatshop by Muslims,
little kids.
So, it's just So trying to get your I think we Catholics need to do a better job of getting our stuff and spending a little bit more on our iconography to get something that we know the source of that, as opposed to just because you can get those like ring rosaries and they sell them by the bucket.
Yeah.
But they're all like engraved with the made in China on them, and you need to make sure that you get those extra size before you get them blessed, just in case. But
it's a really big mood killer. You get something really cool from a Catholic shop just to have it peel and then say made in China, and you're just like, dang it.
Yep.
Why'd you lie to me? So,
but that's why another reason why what you're doing is so important. I mean, creativity is so important. Subsidiarity is so important. Getting something local. From someone that's actually making it with their own hands, which obviously you're doing.
The jewelry components that I get, I source them from the US as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't like going into the craft store to get them because they're from China. Especially metal sensitivities, because I do have quite a few people who have metal sensitivities.
My wife has that.
Yeah, I was not about to order from some sketchy place.
Yeah.
And have someone, break out in a rash and die because my jewelry component, wasn't actually, vetted well. So, and my sisters have really bad, issues as well with metal sensitivities as well. So that was kind of a big motivating factor if I want something that's not gonna, cause a lot of irritation. Because there's nothing, worse than you getting really excited to get a piece of jewelry and then you can't wear it because it turns you red or green.
Yeah. Or like those TJ Maxx earrings you mentioned earlier, turning your ears blue or whatever. Yeah, it happens all the time. Let me see. I have some more questions from Stephen. Did you have a follow-up or?
No, I think, I mean, my wife has, you look for your questions, but my wife had the ear sensitivity. We got a bunch of these really nice, like Saint Therese earrings, and like from an Etsy shop, from locally sourced, but they didn't use the sterling silver, so she can't actually wear them.
Oh,
But they
no.
are really nice looking. And if she dips them in I think if you dip them in clear nail polish, you can
I was
kind of
gonna say,
wear
yeah, a
them.
lot of people coat them.
But that doesn't necessarily always work. And you can
Yeah, and
also
it's not a permanent solution. It could
no.
scratch off too.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
such a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is always looking for Catholic themed fun. She loves fun earrings. She has some, that she's found on Etsy, but she just was astonished by your stuff. Like nothing has the quality, the uniqueness, the detail, the imagery that your stuff is using. That's why we were so excited to find it. And when she told me about your stuff and I looked at it was your Instagram initially that she sent me, and I was like, wow, this is really good, unique stuff. And
Thank
obviously
you.
I said the
I appreciate
unicorn,
that.
keep coming back to that because it's something that
Yeah.
they've tried
It
to
is
take
so
from
fun
me.
though. I mean, that's what I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much imagery that can be made into fun stuff. Even is that the purple scapular I see behind you?
Yeah, that is the purple scapular. Yep.
Tons of imagery on there. Maybe a set of earrings. I don't know why I keep trying to tell you what you're. I feel like I'm like, listen, I'm now in
I
charge
love
of your
all
design.
ideas. Yeah. I mean,
Scapular
that's really what I
earrings
called it.
isn't a bad idea. Scapular earrings wouldn't be a bad idea. They wouldn't work, and because you have to wear it around yourself.
Well, the
but
purple scapular, I'm not sure that's the case with that.
The
I
purple
don't know.
scapular. I mean, you could. Yeah, I think it's got
What?
the ladder and then an angel catching
Yeah, so
the
much
blood or
imagery.
whatever.
There's the nails. It's all the tools of the crucifixion. Yeah.
And if I were to do something brown scapular themed, I could also tie in Elijah because that is kind of the root of the Carmelite order.
Oh yeah.
So
Or
I could do
maybe
something, there.
maybe one earring Enoch, one earring Elijah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not to spoil anything, but my upcoming collection is papal themed.
Oh.
So I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole of papal tiaras and stuff like that. So
you're going to be making some papal tiaras. How are you going to get head sizes?
Well, I wish to wear, but mostly earring form.
Oh, okay.
But I am going down a rabbit hole of popes and coffee.
Coffee? Oh no. Oh no. You mentioned coffee. Coffee is not good in my life. Coffee is responsible for the downfall of Western civilization. We lost Chris. He's frozen in a weird face.
In the best position.
Let's just pull that into the main screen. Yeah,
zoom in a little bit. Yep.
Anyway, so that's so good. Coffee is, I can't with the coffee. So are you pro coffee or anti coffee?
I'm very pro coffee.
You're pro coffee because you're going to do something about Pope Clement the VII.
Yeah, I was going to say Pope Clement. Yep.
Okay. But coffee is responsible for the downfall of Christendom. That is fact.
At least people felt really good, while it was all falling apart.
Yeah, I mean that's
support drink.
It's tea. However, tea is responsible for the salvation of the church in Japan. So coffee, downfall of the church in Europe. Tea, the salvation of the church in the Eastern world. So something to think about. But Clement VII is not my favorite pope. Just tossing that out there. Seduced by the bitter brew. It's okay. It's fine. I was wondering.
I'm only judging you a little bit.
I judge you a lot for this. This is kind of my thing. People who know me will tell. If you go to my Twitter feed, you will see mostly it's anti-coffee stuff. But I think for the people out there who may be watching who aren't really big into the Catholic scapulars, could you just take a moment to talk about the different colors and what they represent? If you know.
For all the scapulars? I was going to say, do we have an hour? An extra hour?
I don't know how many scapulars. I know that there are a bunch. I know that
there's 15.
Yeah, I know there's
15 plus, yeah.
The green one is the only one you don't actually have to wear to utilize.
Yeah, you could put it under somebody's pillow, put a little target on them. I do like that one. Somebody I know, oh my goodness, yeah, somebody I know was in prison, I think, for like 20 years. And while they were in there, a priest slipped them a green scapular. And he used to be Catholic, but he fell away, obviously. That's why he was in there. But yeah, that was something that was like really big for him. So I've been contemplating.
Green scapular earrings would be, because you could just give them to people and then they would have them and you don't have to wear it. I know. So, like, I know that the green scapular is for reversion. It's or reversion or conversion. You give them to someone and you hide them in their house for conversion or reversion.
Put a target on their back.
Right. That's right. The brown scapular.
We almost finished the show without me crashing.
I know.
5 minutes left, and I crashed. I told her at the beginning of the show. I said, inevitably I will crash, and that's why I really need to have Steven here, because he will carry on.
And I made it in time. So the brown is the generic scapular. No,
a lot of people call it generic. Yeah, it's the most well known. It's the Carmelite order.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of the scapular that launched all the scapulars, I think, but it's the first of the scapulars that I'm aware of. I thought it was the first one. And then you have the black scapular, which I believe is only worn by priests and religious. And then there's the white scapular, and I'm not sure. That's where I kind of lose my knowledge of them.
Dominicans.
Dominican.
There's also the red scapular, the passion scapular. Then there's the passionist. That one.
That's such a cool logo. Correctly. The passion.
Yeah, right.
So cool.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, that one has Our Lady of Sorrows on it.
Yeah.
Don't quote me.
Pretty sure.
I'm trying to think. There's a St. Michael scapular.
Yep.
That one's blue. It's shaped like a shield. And then you could like tangent into cords, like the cord of St. Joseph, the cord of St. Philomena.
Yeah.
The cord of the Angelic Warfare Confraternity, which I actually have. It's a little white cord.
You know what? The St. Louis de Montfort's consecration to Mary wants you to wear a chain after you complete it on your wrist. I just have this generic, like, manly kind of thing, but that might be something that
your Cuban chain.
That might be a thing that could be developed. You know, that could be something for you, and then you could do something.
Yeah. Or even for his Marian consecration earrings, we could go like that direction. I mean, infinite possibilities, which is why what I do is so exciting for me.
Yeah, it's exciting to see it all.
You could do a whole series on scapulars, and like, 'cause each one has a front and a back, so you could do kind of like the earrings you're wearing now, the front and the back of the different colors, and then people can get ones. And it would just be for design. Other than the green scapular, you could actually have the green scapular be a green scapular, but all the other ones you have to be invested in order to use them.
Yeah.
So they're not as good.
Free for all.
Yeah.
Not the purple, I don't think.
The purple? Yeah, I don't think so. I think all you need to do is
get it blessed, and that's it. Yeah.
Which one is?
You need to say the prayers every day, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're supposed to. Yeah, I'm bad about that, but you're
supposed
to.
All of them, you're supposed to say prayers every day. If you give a green scapular, you're supposed to say those prayers every day for that person. So that's another important thing. So which one was the purple one? Because I'm now on a page of the scapulars.
Steven is on scapularcheatsheets.com.
Marie Julie Jahani, I think, is where it comes from.
Yeah, that's the purple scapular.
I think she's venerable.
That's it so far. I wouldn't hold your breath about anything else at this point. But I get frustrated with these saints. They should be saints that have not been, like, what are we waiting for with Leo the 13th? Like, he should be a saint already.
All right, chop chop.
Yeah, such an awesome pope. But I'm not in charge, thank God. So,
well, I mean, you said it was Louis the 13th. Or
Leo.
Yeah, I mean, we got Leo the 14th, so maybe Leo the 13th is going to get promoted here. You know, because
what a moment that would be for him. Yeah.
I would love to see Leo the 13th being made a saint finally.
I might do different, like, papal.
Oh, you were saying that.
Emblems.
You were starting to say that.
Yeah. Again, like, it depends on what people want.
Coffee.
Like,
she mentioned coffee.
Yeah, and coffee.
Yeah, mixing coffee mugs. Yeah.
No, she was saying that she was going to do something about popes and coffee, and I was like, Clement VII, and then I got into that coffee is responsible for the downfall of Western civilization.
Don't listen to him. He's an insane person.
I'm not.
He needs more bean water. That's what it is.
No, it's leaf water or nothing. That's how I go.
What are you, British?
I'm not British. However, I do think we need.
You should be an Anglican then. They like the tea.
I'm not an Anglican.
Coffee
However,
is
a lot of the Eastern rites actually, the Eastern rites have very important tea ceremonies associated with it. The Orthodox and the Eastern Rite Catholics have.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to be like the Orthodox.
I don't want to be like the Orthodox. I do, but
you want
the
to drink
Eastern
tea and
rites
get married 4 times.
3. They get
the limit's
2
3,
do-overs.
I think. Yeah.
They get 2 do-overs, man. 2, not 3.
I thought it was 3 because you get married once at the front of the church.
I was gonna say I could have sworn it was 3, but maybe it's depends.
You're probably right.
On your FRP or something.
You can get married 3 times, but that means you get 2 do-overs. You get married, and then you can get married again, and then you get married. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. So it's 3. Yeah.
It's 3 times, as far as I'm aware.
It must be nice to be Orthodox. You get married as much as you want.
Right.
You don't have to believe in a permanent hell. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. But here's the problem. I mean, look.
The Immaculate Conception.
You deny the Immaculate Conception. I would rather cut my arm. I mean, come on. Anyway, let's not.
We're not gonna go into that.
Not gonna go. I don't want to.
Trigger the Ortho Bros in the comments.
I don't need the Jay Dyer fanboys storming the chat and bothering me.
You know what? We could use that. Look,
I don't want it.
No, there's this Mitchell and Webb sketch where they talk about. They talk about like idiots that show up in the ratings, like they're creating a TV show which is basically The Apprentice, and they're saying like it's a show for idiots, and like not just idiots, but people who feel like they haven't been taken in, and they're like, and how do these non-idiots show up in the ratings? The same. They show up exactly the same. So doesn't matter if they're hate watching or love watching. Doesn't matter.
I just want to say for the record that it is Steven calling the Orthodox idiots and not me.
I'm talking about
your hate to Steven at thefarm.com.
I do not.
Innocent bystander.
Orthodox.
I'm innocent bystander.
I do not think that the Orthodox are idiots. I think that Andrea thinks that they are, but
analogously, you said that.
I love our.
I think it's idiotic to deny the Immaculate Conception, but
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are idiots within the Orthodox community, but then you could say that about any community. There are definitely idiots within the Catholic community. Some of them who have very popular podcasts.
Oh, shots fired!
Quote Father Ripperger: "Sin makes you stupid."
Sin makes you stupid.
Did you see those? We're going to start to wrap up here because I know Steven's got to milk his cow. That's not a euphemism. But did you see those mugs? Well, Steven not yet, but I'm a little bit friendly with Father Ripper. He's been on the show and he's like a super awesome, like real down to earth guy. Did you see those mugs? He has official mugs, and one of them says "Sin makes you stupid." They're so
really.
awesome.
I need that.
I'll send you the link. Yeah, they're so cool. And I asked him because I found them on the internet, and I was like, Father, are you aware of this? He's like, yeah, these are.
You endorse this?
He's like, yes, I endorse them. They're done with my permission. I was like, okay, cool. And I'm going to buy all of them because they're really cool. I'll send the link over to you when we're done here. Mm-hmm. So I'm surprised Steven doesn't have one of those. He's always looking for props to show on the.
I don't have. I have. So this I have here, which is from Slaying Dragons.
Which I know why you don't have one because Father Ripperger said you have to drink coffee out of it.
No, he did not say that.
He told me. That's what he told me.
He told you have to drink coffee out of it. He and I, if I got to sit down and talk to him, he and I would have a discussion about.
I'm not going to let you do that.
Coffee.
I'm not going to let that happen.
I'll get to him eventually. One day we'll cross paths. I've emailed him several times. He has declined to be involved in my rock opera. But it's okay.
Oh, that's terrible. I mean. Horrible. I feel bad. That's so bad. He'll come back on. I did the show for a while before Steven was brought on board, and so he missed the Father Ripperger interviews.
I did.
But,
I would be crying if that happened to me. Oh my goodness.
He's so much fun. Like people don't bring out his sense of humor enough. He's hilariously funny.
And that's why I want him to show up to my festival because I do this Catholic Comedy Festival. He would be great at this Catholic Comedy Festival.
Funny man.
I know.
He cracks me up. Like he's a really funny guy.
He's the only he talks about like battling demons in the way that you talk about washing your car, and that in and of itself is like it's just so mundane. It's like a doctor talking about disease. Like this, it's not. He's not scared. He's just like he has
the right understanding. Just like he always says, he's like, people ask me, how many people have you liberated? I say 0. it's Christ that does the liberation. I'm just kind of there. So it's and the devil hates humility, and he's very humble. I mean, he's a genius and obviously very holy, but he was not going to say any of those things about himself because he has that humility, and that's obviously the primary trait of Our Lady, and the devil hates all that. So that's what makes him so effective. That's why I wonder sometimes about some of these exorcists that are a little too happy podcast hopping these days.
I was gonna say show ponies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it kind of feels like, because any attention brought on them and any vainglory they're getting from this exposure of what they do can't be. It's got to be problematic or potentially problematic. So, I don't know.
We have an exorcist in the diocese, whom I won't mention by name.
Well, every diocese is supposed to have an exorcist.
I was going to say, hopefully every diocese.
Well, so I knew him prior to him becoming the exorcist, and so he was always this very like jokey, laughy kind of guy who'd always like, he's always laughing and telling jokes and just having a great time. And then after he became the exorcist, I met him again, and he was just like he'd seen things, and you could tell from the way that his demeanor, like he was no longer like the jokey guy. He'd been to war, and he was like, he would be the center of attention all the time, and he would be joking and talking to people. And then afterwards, he just sat at, like, there was a big priest convention, and he just sat in the back making rosaries. That's all he does, is just make rosaries all day. Wow. I didn't know he had become the exorcist at that point. And I was like, there's something that went on with this priest, because it looks like he got broken or something. And he's gotten better over the years, I think, because he's just gotten used to what he had to deal with. But like, you could tell, like, there was a definite shift because he was doing exorcisms and dealing with all of the things that happened. Like, but all he would do is he remade this rosary for me, the string that was used on it. So this here, the string that was used on it came apart, and so the whole thing fell to pieces. But he used paracord on inside. So these are stone beads.
Yeah, I see that. It's nice.
Not metal, not gunmetal. I don't like this, that way it makes your hand smell.
No, I have one of those, but yeah, I prefer the stone ones. Yeah.
So these are stone beads with paracord in between. And so it's a really nice rosary, and it's like I could hang off a building with this. And
don't do that.
I'm not gonna try it. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I know you like Spider-Man and everything, but don't do that.
But yeah, so he made this for, like, my wife got it for me for Christmas. She took my old rosary and got it fixed for Christmas, and yeah, he made it. I didn't charge us anything for it. He just did it and gave it back to us, and it was. Yeah, I mean, he obviously understands the significance of the spiritual weapon of the rosary.
Well, that's as we've said multiple times in the show, and we'll use this to try to start to wrap up. But the spiritual reality is reality.
Yep.
And that's one of the things I love so much about what Andrea is doing, is presenting these things that are often set by the wayside in the modern Catholic landscape or a modern landscape in general, or that have been perverted, giving them their true meaning and their due focus, and doing it in a whimsical and fun way for people to enjoy and to become topics of conversation and to spark dialogue about these things. So thank you so much for what you do, first of all, and for coming on. Second of all, I hope you will come back, and I would love to. I mean, I'll have to talk to him about it, but we did do an artist roundtable a few weeks ago. Chris Lewis and a couple other. Okay. We had the Catholic cartoonist on, and so I would love to do that again, and maybe include you in that.
That would be fun.
I'd be honored.
You can come too, Steve.
Yeah.
Just if you can draw a little stick figure of.
Stick figures is what I do.
Okay, me too. But I will put in my pitch one last time for maybe some Lord of the Rings themed work for men, if you want to consider that.
See what I can do.
And in the meantime, we'll try to clean out your store for stuff for my wife. And
I was gonna say, treat her. She did a great job with the questions and stuff like that. Feeling for you.
I agree. So. I agree. I will tell her. She'll be happy to hear that. I know, because she also she does work with clay and stuff herself, just for like a hobby.
Yeah. Okay.
She loves
Like
it.
what kind? Does she do like pottery? What am I picturing?
No, she does like polymer stuff, like
Oh, okay. Yay.
yeah. And she's got our daughter doing it with the clay
Of
now too.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's made little bud vases and stuff, and then she'll go out in the backyard and pick little flowers and put them in. So, it's fun. My wife is very crafty. She loves doing craft, and she's so happy to have a little daughter to like share.
Yeah, I was gonna say
crafting
a
with
little
us.
mini me.
Exactly. So that's been like really great for her. So, yeah, thank you again, and please come back if we can get the roundtable going. Otherwise, if not, then just you alone. There's so many more things that I could discuss with you about all this.
Just let me know. I'm down for whenever. So.
Awesome. Okay, very cool. And continued success. I hope your shop continues to grow. And Steven, anything to add before we wrap up the stream here?
Nope. Yeah. I gave you you in the private chat. I put the link to her store if we want to put that into the show notes or something.
Well, I certainly. Well, I thought I did. Well, I will if I didn't.
So well, the one on I think the one on your tweet was without the H in there, so what didn't actually go to.
No, it was. Oh man. Well, I'll put the right one definitely in the. Nobody looks at my tweets, but I'll put the right one in the show notes for sure.
All right, that's it.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. Thank you everyone that watched live and commented, especially. Please like and subscribe and share. And if you're watching the replay, please do the same thing. And good night, everybody.